defense is straining. Only 10 points scored in 2 consecutive losses. First to the Giants and then to the Miami Dolphins. But Carmichael's caught 51. The defense for the Eagles, the best in football. Only 14 points allowed. The linebacking, Mr. Outside Robinson, Mr. Inside LeMaster, superb. The key is Wilbert Montgomery. The most dangerous Eagle receiver is also the best rusher. Experts say he must touch the ball 30 times if the Eagles are to win. And win they must. Across the river in Baltimore, Dallas has a 1-game lead over Philadelphia. Monk is the long-distance receiver for Washington, and Joe Theismann has it under control. Only 7 interceptions the last 8 games, and the Redskins have won 5 of 8. In the first game between these two, Theismann had more yardage overhead than anybody else against the Eagles in 1981. They're on a hot roll. The Redskin defense can be rushed against, but last week, Ferguson for Buffalo only completed 6 passes. And so today, in the nation's capital, on natural grass, the Eagles and the Redskins, and they don't like each other.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Redskins.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the nation's capital. It's about 48 degrees. The wind will be gusty to about 37 miles an hour, but as the coaches say, it's perfect for football. It's a sellout. Hi, I'm Tom Brookshire, along with the former great Dallas quarterback Roger Staubach. And Roger, let's get real honest about it. Wilbert Montgomery has a tremendous load on his shoulders. He's got to catch it and run like gangbusters today, doesn't he?
You're exactly right, Tom. As you mentioned earlier in the show also, he is the key to that football team, catching and running the football. When you talk value to a team, there's nobody that's any more valuable than Wilbert Montgomery is to the Eagles. When they have him going, he is just tough as can be. The Redskins' Achilles heel is their rush defense, so Wilbert is a big factor today for the Philadelphia Eagles.
They had 26 injured players on the Redskins, and it looked like almost the passenger list for the Titanic for a while, but they're healthy, especially Joe Washington, and I think that he is really the key for them.
Joe Washington, you look at their statistics this year. When he's been in the game, he's been healthy. They have moved the football. He catches it. He runs. He's similar to Wilbert Montgomery. Against Dallas, he missed the second half, and it really hurt him. Joe Washington is back healthy. He missed the last Eagle game, but I think he'll make the Eagles realize he's here today.
Okay, Roger. Tony Franklin is kicking off to the right from the 35. Waiting is Mike Nelms, number 21, the best return man in all of football, and Nelms will get it 1 yard deep in the end zone. We're underway. It's on natural grass, and Nelms breaks out over. He's going to get out to the 37-yard line and finally pulled out by number 20.
Franklin's kick.
A tremendous return by Mike Nelms, and the Redskins are hot. Remember that first game in Washington, the Redskins really loaded it up, and for 3 quarters played the Eagles right into the turf up at Vet Stadium, the artificial turf. We'll set that Redskin offense and the Eagle defense, the very best in football, in just a moment. Joe Theismann is the quarterback. Joe Washington, the only back in the 2 tight end system for GIBBS. Here's the handoff, the reverse to Monk. Flea flicker back to Theismann, going deep. He's going for number 80, C, and C is overthrown at the 20-yard line. Herm Edwards in hot pursuit.
Well, that's a way to open up the football game.
Wow.
Herman Edwards did a nice job, though. He didn't go for the fake. He stayed with his man all the way and did a good job, but I like to see that. They came out. Washington has nothing to lose with this offense now. Joe Theismann, of course, threw that football, and Washington is healthy. And Don Warren, of course, is the guy they got to go through at the tight end against the Eagle defense. And, of course, their offensive line is probably the healthiest been in a long time.
Bostic's the only player that's played all of it, the offensive center. The rest, though, are young, bullish, and healthy for the first time. That's Ricky Walker in motion, the tight end. Straight drop back. Theismann trying to screen to the right side. Gets it to number 85. That's Don Warren. Warren out over the 40 to about the 42. LeMaster making that tackle.
You know, one thing that dictates that flea flicker was Nelms. They figure, well, if we get the ball out in good field position, we'll go with a play like that, and Nelms did his job. He's the best in the business.
Marion Campbell's defense, the best in football. Dennis Bigfoot Harrison, Charlie Johnson, and Carl Hairston. That's on the running defense, the 34. Wilkes, Chesley, LeMaster, Robinson. Of course, John Bunny not playing. He's got the bad wheel. We'll set that secondary for you in just a second. It's 3rd down, and let's call it 5 yards to go on the 42. That's Monk in motion. Theismann getting time. Gets it to Joe Washington at the 45. He's hit immediately there by 2 Eagles. Looks like Johnny Shara in there and Ray Ellis.
You know, Joe really made a mistake right there. He knew he had 5 yards to go, and he's going to get hit immediately when he catches the football, so he's got to get those 5 yards. He turned at about 3.5 yards, and it really wasn't enough for the first down. That's just kind of a mental error on his part.
The wind is perhaps a crosswind. This is young Connell, the kicker. Not an overpowering punter, but he's been fairly careful and has none blocked so far this year. Wally Henry is waiting for it. He's had some success running back punts against the Redskins. He did in game 1. It's not a great kick. Henry's going to watch it hit at the 25, takes it at the 20, and then he's immediately swarmed under. Good coverage by the Redskins.
Why did Henry watch that hit? I think he could have caught that.
I think he's still worrying a little bit about handling the football cleanly. That's a tough place to be. That's like a kicker.
I think you're right about that. You know, he fumbled that last one against Miami, and you do think about that. Sometimes a quarterback throws an interception. You have to forget about those last plays, and really Wally, at the worst, should have fair caught that football.
So the Eagle offense now has a chance to get on top early. Remember, the Eagles are not a great catch-up team. They're fundamentally sound, but they don't have great outside speed in the receiver corps. First down and 10, right on the 22. That's Jaworski. The handoff to Wilbert Montgomery, running right at Dexter Manley. Wilbert gets out to the 27-yard line, and you should see a lot of number 31. Brad Dusak making the first tackle for the Redskin defense. Let's set the Eagle offensive system now. Jaworski, Wilbert Montgomery with 1,111 yards rushing, and he missed a couple of games. Booker Russell, free agent, it's at fullback. Carmichael, of course, Charlie Smith, Krefley, Stan Wallers, Kenny, Morris, Baker, Sizemore, solid on the line of scrimmage. Second down, 5. Back into the I formation now. Booker Russell is the fullback, the near back. Long call, handoff, drive inside to Wilbert Montgomery. Gets out over the 32-yard line. Monty Coleman, the linebacker, making the tackle. 2 for 2. I think Wilbert's going to get called a few times today.
Well, Wilbert is the key, as we mentioned early in the show, and of course he is very special. They did get the first down. It's 1st and 10. He catches the football, 43 receptions, Tom. As you mentioned, his yardage, he's got a 4.9 rushing average. What's amazing from that I formation, he's had 3 or 4 different fullbacks this year. Fullback blocks for him, so he's really been extra special. He doesn't care who blocks for him. He's getting the yardage.
Billy Canfield is in there now with Wilbert Montgomery. It's a first down. Here's the fake inside, being rushed, knocked away, and down the middle, taking the reception and fumbling the ball, and recovered. I believe it's Billy Canfield who recovered his own fumble after making the catch.
That's exactly right. That was a break. Canfield kept his composure when he fumbled the ball, turned around. There was the ball, and he grabbed it again. Nice play. Here's the play action fake, and of course Canfield is out in the flat. That holds the linebackers. They don't get their depth when number 52, of course, was beaten there. Olkowitz, he went for the run fake, and that's why you fake the run. Olkowitz was the guy that could have stopped the play. He didn't. Canfield scampers back, and nice catch, and even a better fumble recovery. The
31st catch for Billy Canfield. Now Booker Russell, the big fullback, is back in there. The Eagles got it moving here the first time they've touched the football. It's a first down on the Redskin 43. I formations. Draw back, quick draw play to Wilbert Montgomery. Wilbert gets hit hard by Dexter Manley, number 72, almost to the 40-yard line. And the Redskins can be rushed against. A week ago, Hooks had a great time filling in for Cribbs with Buffalo and had over 100 yards. And Montgomery has had 6 100-yard games coming in. Quite a back.
The Redskins defensively have played pretty darn good the last couple of weeks, but as you mentioned, they've given up the rush. They've held teams against the pass. In fact, Ferguson only had about 60 yards last week throwing the football, but they're vulnerable at the line of scrimmage running the football.
Second down and 8. Remaining back is Wilbert Montgomery. He's out of the backfield. Jaworski now with time. He steps up, fumbles the football, and recovers his own fumble at midfield. And now the Redskins are fighting for it, and they think they have it. Jaworski appeared to recover his own fumble. The ball just slipped out of his hand, but I saw a defensive lineman come up with it. I believe Perry Brooks, the defensive right tackle, made the recovery.
Jaworski doesn't agree with that. He's still out there feuding with the referee. He wanted to throw the ball. He wanted to go, number one, he wanted to go to Wilbert Montgomery. Monty Coleman is an excellent defensive linebacker, had him man-to-man. He came back to try to hit the tight end. The ball slipped out of his hand, and right there, number 69, Perry Brooks, looks like he grabbed it away.
Looked like Jaworski, though, had it recovered, didn't it?
And he lost it again.
Redskins have the football. With their 15th fumble recovery, and they have that 2 tight end offense, and Joe Washington is the remaining back. That's Ricky Walker in motion. They're running to the strong side. Joe Washington cuts inside, gets to the 45 and inside. Reggie Wilkes making the tackle. And Little Joe, at about 178 pounds, is about as good all-around football player as you're going to see in this league. Bigfoot Harrison is on the ground. Dennis Harrison is still down, number 68. That's Otho Davis. It's rolling over the big fellow from Vanderbilt.
He's gone down to his right knee, which you don't like to see that.
He's had a little bit of a knee problem part of this year. 4th round draft out of Vanderbilt. A giant at 280 pounds, 6'9". Boy, he's in pain. We saw little Joe Washington, though, the first half against Dallas a couple of weeks ago, Roger. And he carried that team until he had to leave with an injury. We'll be back and keep you posted on this injury in just a moment. Impressive numbers. Second versus the rush, second versus pass, first overall, and more importantly, first in giving up points.
That's the big stat, Tom. I agree. Here's Dennis is walking off the field, which is a very good sign. He, I think, was really worried about the knee. It was his right knee was troubling him, but he did get up. He was walking off the field in his own power, but as you mentioned, those stats, they have not given up many points. Less than 15 points a game for the last 3 or 4 years, so that's pretty impressive.
Big Leonard Mitchell, the number 1 draft out of Houston, 99, is playing that spot. Inside trap with the tight end. Joe Washington be met head-on, and you can't run for a steady diet against that. LeMaster and Chesley double-teamed him. Little over 3.5 yards per rushing attempt against this defense. And then when you get into the passing situation, which the Eagles assume now, you bring in 4 down linemen and you'll get a rush. Kenny Clark comes in. Carl Hairston moves inside, or in this case, he moves to the left defensive inside now, outside of Mitchell.
They also bring in Ray Ellis and John Shara. They bring in those extra backs, which puts them man-to-man on the Redskins, so it's even tougher to throw against that.
3rd and 5. They got 3 receivers to the left side, and wide open is Terry Metcalf. Metcalf to the 30-yard line, and very quickly, the Redskins have moved deep into Eagle territory.
I think Jerry Robinson really missed an assignment there, and at the last moment, he realized that he had Metcalf out in the flat, and the Redskins really, when they bring in people, they can confuse you. They have Thompson in there and Metcalf, and sometimes you get confused on personnel and forget who your man was, and I think that time Robinson had a mental error.
And remember the first game up in Philadelphia, Metcalf had several great catches in the first half. Giants and the Rams. The Rams have jumped out 7-0 over New York early in the first quarter. Washington getting to the 30-yard line and a lot of heat. Carl Hairston and Reggie Wilkes making the tackle. Again from that double tight end formation. And they'll bring in a 3rd receiver when they want to throw, as they did with Metcalf. A dangerous offensive ball club. And Joe Gibbs has the San Diego philosophy. A lot of motion, make you take the wrong coverage. That time it worked. It's 2nd down and 9 on the 30. Big play here. Reverse motion by Monk. The draw play to Joe Washington, looking for anywhere to go. Great defensive play by Mitchell. Number 99 went through, forced the play, and made a great tackle.
He did. George Stark had him. He spun back around off of Stark and came back and made the play. As you mentioned, they do have a creative offense, the Redskins. They do camouflage a lot of things with their motion. And here's Washington right here. And Stark gets a block right here, but Mitchell spins. Bounces right into him and gets a little cleanup help also from Big Charlie Johnson.
Mitchell's a load, too. The big kid's 270-some-odd pounds, and it's hard to get a chance to play. Here's the 4-man rush now. 3rd down and 10 on the 31. Here's Theismann, reverse rolling on purpose. And down there by C. Virgil C., the young man from Troy State, made a great catch, and he was hit immediately.
John Scharrer was right there on the play. He almost started to go for the interception, but Theismann really drilled that ball, and rolling to his left, that's an excellent play to drill a ball going to your left like that.
Number C had over 100 yards catching and a touchdown against the Detroit Lions when the Redskins upset them. He's got good speed, he's short, but as you can see, he has great hands. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 14-yard line. 6:48 gone in the first quarter. Walker in motion, handoff to the left side to Joe Washington. Gets to the 10-yard line before he's belted. Chesley making the tackle. Joe Washington has a flak jacket on his left side where one of the Cowboys kicked him in the ribs. He's playing with not much weight, a lot of heart, glasses. He might be one of the great second-round draft choices that you'll ever see. That's what the Redskins gave Baltimore to get him.
That's what you call a deal right there.
It's a steal.
He has paid dividends. Over almost 700 yards rushing, 58 receptions.
2nd down 6. That's the tight end in motion. They're running to the strong side. Washington scoots back inside to the 5. Chesley again making the tackle. George Stark making the good block up front, the veteran at right tackle.
That's a disciplined defense the Eagles use, though. They look like you give them a crack on offense, and all of a sudden it's filled by a defensive player. Those linebackers are very active. Lemaster and Chesley in the middle, Robinson and Wilkes on the outside. They really pursue, hustle, and make a hit. When you think you've got a few extra yards, all of a sudden it's closed down by a big green jersey.
3rd and 2. All are big plays, but this is certainly big. Washington dips outside, scores standing up. Started outside, and Little Joe cut it back inside and scored the touchdown. His 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
Here he goes right here. He's going to the outside, and nice block, good inside block and cutoff. And of course the play is overrun by Lemaster that time. He started to pursue to the outside, and Washington cut back with that quickness and into the end zone standing up.
Mosley now trying to make it 7. He's missed 1 extra point all year. He has missed 2 extra points all year. A 6-0 Washington lead following the recovery of a fumble from Ron Jaworski. A lot of time left in the first period, a lot of action too.
Well, here he is, the kid from Oklahoma. Good shutoff block by Walker in the inside, and Jacoby and Lemaster overruns the play, and Joe Washington's in the end zone. A big touchdown. A touchdown against a fine Eagle defense gives the Redskins some confidence. And the Eagles, as you mentioned, Tom, don't have a great knack of coming back if they get too far behind with the conservative offense they use.
That extra point being missed by Mosley will sort of hang there. We've got 5:20 left in the first, and Mosley's kicking off to Billy Camfield. The young man out of Kansas who's put together like a rock will get the return action. Mosley usually gets a high kick. This is just fair for him. It hits Camfield, he gets it. Now he's out over the 10-yard line. Billy Camfield coming straight out, and has really hit at the 21 by several Redskins.
This is a real study in psychology right here, and I want to mention the Eagles situation. Of course, as everyone knows, they have to win. The Redskins don't. They can try the flea flickers, they can take some chances, but I really believe the Eagles have got to take some chances also. They can't be tight, and right now they look a little tense, a little tentative, and that shows the pressures on them, but you still have to make things happen and take some chances.
Very solid up front. The Eagle offensive line from tackle to tackle is excellent. Krepley's a very good tight end, but not a lot of speed outside, and keep it in mind. Booker, Russell, and Montgomery, the backs. Redskins are really ganging the line of scrimmage on this first down. May have been too much time. Jaworski, you might know, or you should know, gets the plays relayed in from the sidelines, from upstairs down to Stiles, who stands next to Coach Vermeil, and then they wigwag in the signals, and they didn't get the play off.
Delay of game, offense, still first down.
The Eagles are the second most penalized team in football right now. San Diego has that dubious distinction, but the Eagles are closing in on it with plays like that. It's first down and 15, back on the 16. High formation. pushing is Charlie Smith. Toss back to Wilbert Montgomery. He gets caught back at the 15-yard line. Dave Butts, the gigantic defensive tackle, and Manley made the stop.
Well, the Eagles just seem to me like they're waiting for something to happen instead of trying to make things happen. A mistake, 5-yard penalty. They're in a 1st and 15. Now they're dug themselves back into another hole, and they need to get aggressive as far as a big play.
A tough place to call it, Rod. 2nd and 16. You got to be a little careful.
You got to throw it now, though. You got to get out of there.
Canfield is in the backfield. There's the draw play that's not going to get to anywhere but the 15. Olkowitz, the first man there, the middle linebacker for Washington. It'll bring up a punting situation. Dave Butts also in on the tackle.
Here's a draw. The Redskins haven't brought in their nickel yet. It was only 2nd and 16. The draw's kind of tough against that front four. Dave Butts is solid in the middle. Redskins now bring in their nickel defense. They bring in Dallas Hickman to replace Manley, and they also bring in an extra back, Nelm. So they're now looking for the pass, but that 2nd down situation was a time to throw the football.
Wally Henry is in. 3 wide receivers in the shotgun. Last week, the Redskins blitzed the Buffalo shotgun quite often. They don't this time. It's a regular. Jaworski going to the outside. Carmichael has it at the 33-yard line and gets to the 40 before he steps out. Jarris White trailing the big fella. 52nd reception for Harold Carmichael.
Well, that was a well-designed play, Tom. They had Smith down the left sideline. Canfield, they flooded the left side, and they had Carmichael with the flood over there, man-to-man on Joe Lavender, and he came out to the outside, and of course Smith ran Jarris White out of the picture, and a nice throw by Jaworski. Good move by Carmichael.
And a good throw to get under your belt as the quarterback, right?
Well, it is. It's especially getting out of that rut they were in back there also. If they would have had to punt, being behind 6-0, that's kind of desperation.
Jaworski 2 for 2 for 48 yards now, the I formation. With a breathing room. Handoff to Wilbert Montgomery. Wilbert covers the ball up. Gets out to the 43-yard line. Couple of scores. There's a lot of action that still means something around the NFL right now. San Francisco on top of Cincinnati 7-0 in the first quarter. And New Orleans on top of St. Louis 3-0. Cardinals hot as a pistol with Lomax as their QB. They've won 3 in a row. 3:05 left in the first period. A 2nd down 7 facing the Eagles. Spagnola and Krepley, 2 tight ends in there. Montgomery cuts through it. Jaworski has time and throws it to Spagnola. The big Yaley gets to the 40-yard line. Olkowitz making the tackle.
Yeah, Stan Walter did a nice job. Manley really took a quick escape, and Walters pushed him around the outside. Jaworski stepped in the pocket, had good time, and Spagnola hooked down there between Neil Olkowitz and Monty Coleman, and Jaworski drilled it right on the numbers.
Spagnola's had the hamstrings for most of the middle part of the season. He's back healthy. And the 2 tight end offense would look good with Wilbert Montgomery as your remaining back. It's 1st and 10 on the 40 now. The Eagles look like they might be generating something. Inside handoff, Canfield barely gets the line of scrimmage at the 40. Olkowitz making another tackle.
Well, the Redskins seem to have shored up their, something like that anyway, rushing defense. Here they go. They stop Canfield. They've been giving up a lot of yardage running the football. So far, they've shut down the Eagles running the ball, but the Eagles have thrown the ball well in this series.
Make those linebackers commit early that way. A play-action pass you can throw behind them. It's 2nd down and 10.
The blitz.
The blitz is on. Jaworski gets away from it and finds a receiver, Krepley, who is still on his feet down to the 23-yard line. What a great escape by Ron Jaworski.
Krepley has been one of the underrated tight ends. this year he's had some injuries off and on. He hasn't had the kind of year that he's had in the past. Only 18 receptions, 5 for touchdowns, but there's a patented Krepley play right there. A tough situation. Jaworski does a nice job, steps up in the pocket and drills it in there. Krepley concentrates on the football, and then with that strength he has, he pulls away from Mark Murphy, number 29, and gets an extra yard or two. But that's what Krepley does well. Catches the ball in tight situations, and he can run with it.
Murphy told me that he thinks Krepley's the most underrated tight end maybe in the league. A 1st and 10 for the Eagles on the 26. Jaworski straight back on 1st down. Outside. Canfield has it. Gets stared down and finally tackled at the 35. Monty Coleman looking him right in the eye.
Coleman's got that speed for linebacker, and he's one of the few linebackers similar to Jerry Robinson who have that great speed that probably could play cornerback with their kind of speed, and they play the backs very well, very tight. And man-to-man situations out in the flat.
You like the way Jaworski throws? He has good velocity. What do you think about him, Roger? Quarterback to quarterback.
I think he's really making strides, improving each and every year. I think his emotion sometimes breaks his concentration. I think at times Ron loses that concentration.
Good call. 2nd down and 9. A 1-yard pickup. Canfield sneaking through the line. Jaworski being chased. Going to the outside. Throws a knuckler. Spagnola couldn't get up on the ladder enough to get it, and I think we have a Redskin down on the field as the 1st quarter comes to a close. Olkowitz is down, but he's trying to get up, and so are the Eagles. A 6-0 Washington lead, and the Birds have the ball and seem to be driving. NCAA basketball here on CBS. This is the game next Saturday. I watched Ohio State play Kentucky. Is quite a game on CBS. It's good to see baskets back. There's Olkowitz, the big guy from Maryland. He's the leading tackler on this ball club.
It's a tough cookie, Olkowitz.
By this time of the season, you got to be bandaged, and he is about every place. 1st quarter went by humming. Only took 27 minutes for 15 minutes of good football. Redskins are really hitting today, and they don't really like the Eagles anyway. This goes back a long time. Shotgun formation on 3rd down and 9.
We got Lamar Parrish in there for the first time in 3 weeks.
Jaworski gets a snap. He's got time. He's going outside. A wide open receiver. Billy Canfield scores a touchdown. Canfield was wide open, somehow got beyond the perimeter, and Jarris White recovered just too late.
Well, the Redskins went to that nickel defense on 2nd and 10 that time. Jarris White was in there, and of course Parrish, and he isolated Canfield on White. Canfield went out in the flat, turned it upfield, and Jaworski hit him a little bit behind him, but Canfield caught the football into the end zone. He picked out the right receiver.
Billy had 9.6 speed when he was back at Kansas, so I think he's a lot faster than perhaps defensive backs believe he is. Tony Franklin now will be trying for the extra point. He's missed one so far this year, too. I wonder if his bare foot is cold today. It's rather brisk. Johnny Shara is holding. Dead solid, perfect.
That's a mental lift for the Eagles to come back and score after that 6-point quick touchdown by the Redskins.
Jaworski is on target, and Canfield seems to be catching most of them. It's 7-6. Tony Franklin puts the barefoot to work. It's taken on the side by Alvin Garrett that used to be with the Giants. Alvin Garrett with a good return gets out over the 30. 7-6. The Eagles have drawn ahead by the single digit. Johnny Shara made that tackle. Alvin Garrett's always been a real good football player, and the Giants unloaded him because they simply ran out of numbers on their roster.
That was a big drive right there by the Eagles. 79 yards. Jaworski threw the ball extremely well. The last touchdown to Canfield, but it was a picker-upper also. They couldn't afford to make a mistake on that drive and have the Redskins get in scoring opportunity again, so they did it. They had the pressure on them, and they scored.
The toss back to Joe Washington, who may have gotten a yard or so and almost got his bell rung. The Eagles look like they are perhaps beginning to hit a lick on both sides now. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League as intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. 14-15 left in quarter number 2. A 7-6 game. New England good. 7-0 over Miami. First quarter action. Every game means something, doesn't it? Theismann getting rushed by Carl Hairston. Reverses. Now he's being tackled for a loss by, I believe, Kenny Clark, number 71. Bigfoot Harrison back in there again, too. A big pass rush.
Well, that was a pass rush, and Theismann gets out of the grasp of the first guy right here, and I guess it was Dennis Harrison, number 68, comes around that corner, and Theismann spins off, but they keep pursuing, and here comes big number 71, Ken Clark, who's in that nose guard position for Charlie Johnson. They sack him for a big loss.
Fourth sack for Kenny Clark, a free agent out of Syracuse, who rolls like a ball when he gets into that pass rush. Now it's 3rd down and 27, back on the 15. Theismann's got to be careful now. Let's see in motion, number 80. Theismann rolling almost on his own now. Throwing on the run and completes the pass to Ricky Thompson. It's going to be short of the first down. Bernard Wilson was there.
It's a good move by Theismann that time. The pressure he had to the outside was Jerry Robinson was coming fast, but that guy right there, Ricky Thompson, keeps making the plays. He makes big catches for the Redskins. He caught that one, got him in good punting position.
He does play extremely well against the Eagles. Little man from Baylor who runs the good pattern. Connell now back to kick. The wind is swirling, and Wally Henry back to take it at the Eagle 25. There's the snap. No pressure on him. A high kick. Henry back to the 23-yard line. Now Wally Henry has a little running room and gets to the 30. Good coverage by the special teams for the Redskins. 13-11 before halftime. Philadelphia warming to the task. They lead by 1 point. Popular young people right here in the nation's capital, Joe GIBBS, from an 0-5 to a 5-8. And of course, Dick Vermeil just took Eagle football in '76 and turned it around. Nothing but a winner. Here's a 1st and 10 call on the 31. That's Charlie Smith. That's going in motion. Jaworski with only 1 incompletion dumps it over the middle for his 2nd incompletion, trying for Krepley. Detroit with an Eddie Murray field goal leads Green Bay 3-0, and everybody but Chicago is still in that Central Division race. St. Louis with a touchdown now leads New Orleans 7-3 in the first period. Olkowitz is back in at middle linebacker. He was in on the last play, actually. It's a 2nd down and 10. Back, gets some time, comes across the middle, intercepted. Intercepted by Murphy, his 6th interception of the year. Jaworski missed Carmichael coming across the middle.
He was going to Carmichael all the way, and Carmichael's complaining out there right now. He felt he was held up coming into that middle. Jaworski threw the ball out in front, anticipating Carmichael's move, and Carmichael couldn't get into that middle quick enough. Here's Jaworski right now. He goes to throw it, thinks he has Carmichael. Carmichael was held up. Murphy made the interception. Well, they're still going at it over there a little bit. It's probably
Coach Vermeil and Jaworski.
It's probably creative over there, but they've been pointing at each other, and I think Vermeil was saying you shouldn't have thrown that middle, Ron, and Ron was saying, well, I thought Harold was going to get there quicker.
Here's the slipstream pass out to Art Monk by Theismann, and Monk quickly gets to the 40-yard line, and inside the 40, Blackmore, who is in there for Ronell Young. Ronell Young has a bad ankle and a shoulder. Boy, Art Monk can get underway in a hurry.
Here's what the Redskins do. They run the quick screens, the fake draws off of this 2 tight end set. They drill it out here on the quick screen. They send George Stark, number 74, out in front of the play with C blocking also. Little gain. Good coverage by the Eagles.
A 7-yard pickup, 2nd down 3 on the 39. There's Walker, the tight end's in motion. Joe Washington inside. Ooh, he's hit hard and dropped. Almost as he got to the hole, it closed up. You run out the 34, and Charlie Johnson, the nose man, the Pro Bowler, controls those 3 men across the line of scrimmage from him, and those defensive ends do a job. That was Carl Hairston knifing in.
You know, you think sometimes that these guys, the professionals, they're out there going through the routine, but these guys are nervous before a game like this. The Eagles have a lot of pressure on them. Vermeil does, Jaworski. They have a great football team. They've stumbled the last few weeks, and right now they're playing a little bit nervous.
3rd and 2. What do you call, Roger? Here's the call. Joe Washington goes outside, gets away from Charlie Johnson, and is awfully close to the first down. Dennis Harrison made the tackle with LeMaster. That's going to be close.
I'd say if he doesn't make it, they'll still go for it. It's going to be that close. Here's Charlie, though. He sneaks in there, could stop the play for yard loss, gives it a nice try, but just gets away. Washington with his elusiveness. And he probably bowled his way close to the first down. If they don't make it, I'm sure they'll go for it.
You're 5 and 8, you might as well go for it, right? By the nose?
They got it by the nose.
Theismann has gotten less passing yardage than he did in the first 5 losses, but as that rushing game has come up to sort of balance off, and they're pretty close to a run-pass ratio of even, which is a pretty decent way to have your offense going. He's been a better quarterback, I think. Of course, he's won 5 games, which helps, too.
Yes, and last week's the first time they went back some of their old ways, turnovers and penalties. They've stayed away from mistakes, and they've played excellent football when they've stayed away from those mistakes.
1st and 10 call. That's the tight end in reverse motion. Theismann quickly back, has a lot of time, and overthrows the receiver coming back for it. That's C, Virgil C coming back. Blackmore looked like he had him covered pretty well.
Here's C this time, and Blackmore is in there for Royale Young. Blackmore's a free agent. He's not on him tight enough. It's just a bad throw. Theismann throws it to the outside, and either C broke to the inside too far, but they missed communications, quarterback and receiver.
Theismann is 6 of 8 for 61 yards. Washington has carried the ball for 23 yards on only 10 carries. It's tough to run against this defense. 2nd down 10. Straight drop back, and the rush is on. The blitz is on, but Theismann has time, and almost intercepted by Blackmore.
Well, that time Blackmore really read that well. Theismann was looking out there to see the blitz was on, and he anticipated perfectly. And it looked like the sun is hitting that angle over there, and it's a little bit tough on our cameras also with that sun. It's an unusual sun in this stadium. But this time it looked like Blackmore had the ball in his hands, and we'll see it right here. He had a shot there. Yes, he did. He could have went all the way on that time.
I bet Fred Bruni, the defensive backfield coach upstairs, almost fell out of the stadium. Boy, you dream about those playing cornerback. There's that defense, the #1 defense in the National Football League. An incredible group under Marion Campbell, the old Fox. It's 3rd down and 10, and the 4-man line is rushing this time. Theismann, the flags are down, and Carl Harrison grabs the quarterback.
Number 74, offense.
A false start by Stark, the big right tackle, trying to get ready for the pass block. He is mad about it, too. Look at Stark.
He's the veteran in this line. They've got Jones, Bostic, Grimm, Jacoby.
Number 74, still 3rd down.
All young guys, and the old-timer got the penalty.
First penalty against Washington. It'll bring up 3rd and 15 back on the 42. Look at this job in the 2nd period. The Vikings and the Bears 0-0, and they've got good weather in Chicago. That's not a blizzard either. That's Metcalf in motion. Theismann getting big heat from Brown. Throws over the middle. Intercepted by Bernard Wilson. Bernard Wilson back over the 30, still on his feet to the 36-yard line. And Grimm, the big left guard, made the tackle.
Theismann thought he had Metcalf isolated on Jerry Robinson. Metcalf made a little out move and went straight down the middle, and Theismann didn't read the weak safety at all. Bernard Wilson was back there hanging in his area looking for the football. See, Robinson, number 56, has Metcalf out in the flat, and Metcalf just takes off straight down the field. Now Robinson's trailing about a foot, but there's Bernard Wilson coming from his safety position. Nice play by Wilson, good anticipation, big turnover for the Eagles.
5th interception for Bernard Wilson. Eagles have a 7-6 lead. You're looking at Joe Gibbs. He's got the charts. He's got a new young staff. In his first year, they're still a very good football team. They've come a long way. They're just turnovers. The big one, the interception, of course, Joe Theismann just moments ago. Booker Russell and Wilbert Montgomery in the eye. Montgomery, number 31. Ooh, darts out to the 47-yard line. Mark Murphy having to fall on him there. Boy, Wilbert gets it in high gear. 195 pounds, and he must ice down the whole body after a game. He has a million nicks and bruises.
How many?
Don't forget, next Saturday, Wake Forest against Marquette, right here on CBS on NCAA basketball. Live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then next Saturday, a special NFL Today before the Vikings play the Lions. That's 3:30 Eastern Time, and it always starts with the NFL Today. First and 10 out on the 47. High formation. Handoff to Booker Russell. The 228-pounder gets into Washington territory, and Dexter Manley makes the tackle.
The Sevelt 228-pounder. Booker's problem has been weight.
That whole position's been a problem, though, you know.
Oh, yeah, it started with Leroy
Harris went down in preseason. Then Harrington went down against the Redskins in that first game. And then last, of course, on Monday night, Oliver, the young rookie, also got a sprained ankle, and he's out. This is fourth fullback. The toss to Montgomery. Ooh, darts inside. Looks like he has the first down.
Well, that's the guy they can't lose.
Wilbert can also throw the football. He was on that same high school team down in Greenville, Mississippi with Jimmy Giles. How would you like to have those two in high school playing for you?
I tell you, Wilbert Montgomery's a good man, too. I had the chance to go to a big ceremony. They had him for Wilbert Montgomery Day at Abilene. He went to Abilene Christian in Abilene, Texas, and, well, they love him there. He's a fine guy, as well as being a very special athlete.
29 yards on 6 carries, and you're right. Wilbert Montgomery. Once he started playing for the Eagles, it's been 1,000 yards every season. Jaworski screening to Charlie Smith to get some good blocks. Smith down over the 20, inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. Jarris White finally making the tackle. And what a play by Charlie Smith.
They're going to call it back. Stan Walters is really unhappy over in the sideline, and as are the Eagles. We can't see the flag, but I
still don't see a flag. I do. Now it's down around the 13-yard line. Pushing.
Well, it's way down there. Stan is back at the line of scrimmage. He threw up his arm, so he must have.
It's going to be after then the completion, so the completion will count, and they'll mark it off from the point of the completion. So the Eagles will get a first down out of it. Dick Vermeil is checking closely.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 84 offense during the run. They still have the necessary yardage for a first down.
Keith Krepley down there trying to make sure Charlie Smith got to the end zone. Look at it. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, it was explained well. Stan Walters made the key block over there. He got Joe Lavender, and once Lavender was blocked, when Walters pulled out, Charlie Smith had the left sideline, and he motored until Krepley made the mistake.
A 32-yarder for homeboy Smith. First and 10 on the 21. Inside handoff. That's what Wilbert Montgomery almost breaks it, gets inside the 15. Wilbert does not have the great lateral moves downfield that perhaps a Dorsett has, but he really runs cleanly into the holes. He is perhaps the quickest back at hitting the hole as it opens before it closes.
I saw him, here's the score. St. Louis is now pulled ahead of the Saints, but I saw exactly what you're talking about in the Pro Bowl, and with all the great backs that have been there, when Wilbert Montgomery's there in the Pro Bowl, Detroit now up on Green Bay 10-0, Wilbert is the quickest into the hole.
There he is, Wilbert Montgomery. This time a good tackle by Olkowitz keeps him from getting much.
I would classify him quicker than Tony Dorsett now. In a 100-yard dash, Dorsett would probably beat Wilbert Montgomery, but quickness, and Montgomery's fast for the 100 yards, but that quickness into the hole, which is very critical, the Gale Sayers type quickness, and he could hit a hole faster than anybody I've ever seen. Wilbert has got that kind of quickness into the hole.
Wilbert received a Most Valuable Player award the other night. The Bakers Club gave it to him, and he used to send a designated recipient, but this time he got up himself and did a nice job talking on his feet. Second down 3, big call. Montgomery running on his feet. Oh, he's hit hard. Perry Brooks in on the tackle. I don't believe he got the first down.
This is called the coach's tester right here. It's going to be short, a few inches short. I'd go for it.
I would imagine with a win meaning that you get a wild card spot, that the Eagles will probably let it all go today. Win this one, get into the wild card playoff situation, then worry about going to Texas later.
They're going to go. When they say coach's tester, if they don't make it, people are going to second guess, but it's a good decision.
And so the defensive bunch will come in for the Skins. That'll put some beef on the line of scrimmage. We look like we have about a foot for a first down deep in Washington territory, and 7:03 left before halftime.
Well, Booker tried one of these big ones, 3rd and 1 against the Dolphins. I think that was a turning play in the game when they had that ball about midfield and the Dolphins stopped him. Who are they going to give it to this time? I think Wilbert will get the ball.
I would imagine Wilbert will get the ball. If not, he's going to be mad. Montgomery and Booker Russell in a pro set. A 3 tight end offense. There's Carmichael in motion. Here's Wilbert Montgomery. Dances through the hole, gets the first down. Just inside that 10-yard line. Okowitz making the tackle.
He saw Carmichael pass and Jaworski and tapped him on the fanny there a little bit. They're not real close friends on account of that, but he's just saying it's about time to snap the ball. I'm in position to block that guy on the outside, and of course he got the key block on the outside on Manley, so that was a strategic smack on the back.
Booker Russell making a pretty good inside block there too. Montgomery now 40 yards on 10 carries. 1st and 10 now. 6:09 left in the second period. Back into the eye. Wilbert Montgomery inside, gets over the pile to the 5-yard line and dragging Redskins as he goes. Mendenhall taking a ride, big number 76. That is a racehorse. I remember one time in preseason training, one of the rookies knocked Wilbert down, and about 7 Eagle veterans went over and grabbed the young person by the throat and said, that's half our franchise. Don't fool with it.
If I was a quarterback, I would have been over there too. I wouldn't want to lose that.
Second down.
Montgomery.
2nd down and 5 on the 5. Prepley in motion, and Jaworski's going to throw it. Quickly, caught and dropped by Charlie Smith on his back in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, that was dropped by Charlie Smith, but Jarris White could have had an interception right there. The ball looked like White had a shot at it also.
Charlie Homeboy Smith with a big 32-yard screen pass and run set up this drive. Camfield now comes in for the Eagles. Lamar Parrish is in for the Skins.
It's a little down and in there. We get it a little bit late, but Jarris White, number 45, went across that ball and probably went through his hands. He had a shot at it, and he looked back and was disappointed. Of course, Smith almost made a acrobatic catch out of it.
It's shotgun time, very close on the 5-yard line. Jaworski with time, lobbing for Camfield. Camfield has the 2nd touchdown of the game.
Well, that's a nice play right there. Rich Malott got beat on that, and Jaworski laid that up there nicely for Camfield, and he beat Malott to the outside, and it's one of those alley-oops, but the guy they threw it to was Camfield. Unexpectedly, I don't think the Redskins were looking for that. Right there is where he beat Malott, and now Jaworski lays it up. Lets the receiver run under it. He didn't drill it. Puts the ball perfectly in position for Camfield, and it's a touchdown. Big play. Nice pass.
Tony Franklin now trying to get some warmth into his right leg, and an extra point would help him right here with it. It's blocked. It was low to start with. It was blocked. And there's the extra point. Each kicker has missed an extra point now. Jarris White got his hand on it, but it was low coming out. 13-6. Washington trailing. Darren Staubach in Washington, a 13-6 Philadelphia lead, the second quarter, has been green and white, I guess you could say. Franklin kicking off from the 35. It's a short kick. Nelms, the most dangerous one, at the 17-yard line. Nelms very quickly out over the 35.
He's an exciting guy, isn't he?
Boy, can he motor.
Unbelievable. He does it time and time again. The best in the business. They're talking about maybe using him on offense next year. He's so good and versatile. And here we have the scoring drive, and Jaworski again was on target for the pass. Wilbur chewed up most of that yardage with some big runs, but good drive. A good news, bad story. There's nothing more concerning than the good news of scoring a touchdown, the bad news of missing an extra point, and it's haunted both these teams today, and it could prove out to be a factor before the game's over.
Under 5 minutes left before half. Play action pass being rushed by Jerry Robinson, and Joe Washington gets hit at the 40-yard line and hard. LeMaster buried Washington. Jerry Robinson came very close to making Theismann put that ball away.
Here's Robinson. It's the blitz. The outside linebacker coming all the way this time, and Theismann knows he's in trouble right here. Drops it off to Washington, and LeMaster collars him.
LeMaster had 8 solo tackles against the Dolphins. And the one thing you can say about the Eagle defense, they play every day and hard. They were superb in both the losing games of the last 2 weeks. Inside handoff, Joe Washington finds a little bit of a hole to the 45. Chesley making the tackle along with Carl Hairston.
And one thing about these Eagle linebackers, they make quite a few interceptions, but across the board there's about 6 or 7. They play a zone concept, but it's really an area coverage. If a receiver comes into their zone, they'll pick him up man-to-man, and most teams don't do that. They'll look at the quarterback and play the zone. The Eagles, when they see someone in their area, they'll take him man-to-man. So those backs hooking up in the seams are pretty well covered, even though it's a zone concept.
Art Monk's only had the one little slip screen. Would you think they might be getting the ball to him?
Monk is their big play guy. He's got 46 catches. He's been shut down most of the day, and that would be a pretty good bet.
The Redskins burn a timeout. Number 7 comes over to find out what the coach really wants. 13-6, Philadelphia. Just by Campfield from Jaworski, who is having a good throwing afternoon here in the chilly atmosphere of Washington, D.C. Theismann back on 3rd down and 2. Across the middle, intended for Joe Washington, I believe, at midfield, and Chesley and LeMaster did a high-low job on him. No, it was Metcalf trying to come across.
See, that was an example of that defense right there. You know, I think Theismann thought that Washington was man-to-man, but he really wasn't. Chesley picked him up and stayed with him, and LeMaster was waiting right over there, and it was a zone basically with Chesley following Washington across, so Washington couldn't hook up, and it's confusing, and it's tough to hit the backs and the tight end into that well-disciplined Philadelphia defense.
Wally Henry back to take the punt, averaging a little over 70 yards. Connell's kick, it's real good hang time on this one. Henry at the 12, doesn't fair catch, it's going to run it. Wow. A bulldogging tackle by Clayton, who's downfield very quickly. Looked like something from the National Rodeo.
Yeah, Ricky got him, number 35.
Don't forget the doubleheader. The Giants against the Cardinals. And, of course, the battle at Texas Stadium. These Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys.
This game will play a big role in how significant this game will be here, Dallas, Philadelphia, next week in Dallas.
Well, the great football that's left. Very few teams are eliminated from something.
The Eagles have a chance at the division title yet, and it's important. That's that home field advantage, no wild card games. They need to win 3 of them. Here, Dallas, and then the last one in Philadelphia against St. Louis.
The Eagles with poor field position on the 14. Booker Russell gets the call, the fullback. A little bit of a crossbuck action that time. Monty Coleman made the tackle.
Well, it's important to get that home field advantage. Yep, in Vet Stadium, the Cowboys hate to go up there. The Eagles don't like to go to Dallas. See, I even got snowballed up there in the Vet Stadium last year in that final game.
Well, everybody's been stoned at one time or the other at Vet Stadium. Remember when they gave Santa Claus a bad time a few years ago? But I have to admit, it was a bad-looking Santa Claus.
I ran through that tunnel, never took my helmet off.
And they loved you in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
average yards on first down. Boy, Philadelphia averaging 9 yards a shot. Jaworski's hot. It's second down and 9. The draw play to Wilbert Montgomery. Dave Butts makes a tremendous play defensively. Big number 65. Suppose if you're drafting, Bobby Beathard and company will be looking for a couple of defensive linemen to go along with Butts and Brooks. And
they've talked about that. They've talked about the fact they might even go to a 3-4 next year. They feel they have more depth at linebackers, and they might experiment with it in the offseason. The 3-4 is an excellent defense. 3-man rush, 4 linebackers. Of course, if the Redskins feel they have more personnel at linebacker, and they might switch that defense. I think it's a good defense anyway. I think it's a good, solid defense in the NFL, and one that they should seriously look at it. I think the Cowboys have even talked about looking at it.
Jaworski goes to talk to Vermeil, and Mark Murphy went over to talk to Mr. GIBBS. 2 minutes left before half. 55, the preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. Butts was right on cue. He makes a great defensive play, and they roll his public service announcement.
I'll tell you, Butts is having a good year. We've seen quite a few Redskin games, and he's been solid and consistent the whole season. And
he needs size, though. He's only 288 this year. 52
extra large jersey we've mentioned a few times. He's a big one, but a good one.
A big call. 3rd down and 5.
Nice Santa Claus.
Carmichael and Smith are flanked to the right. Billy Canfield's the man in motion on the shotgun. Dumped over to Wilbert Montgomery. A good block. And Wilbert Montgomery out over the 30. Down. He has some running room. Spins and gets inside Redskin territory to the 49. Mark Murphy holding on. A good block on Dave Butts. Sprung Wilbert Montgomery loose. He made a fancy move right at midfield, didn't he?
He did, and you mentioned the block. That was a critical block. Dave Butts did a nice job, got to the outside, and Ron Baker, number 63, just cut him down, and that really sprung Montgomery for the big run down the side. And watch this block right here. There's Baker, number 63. We missed Butts. I don't know how we missed him. He's so big, but he was out of the camera. And there's Montgomery, makes a couple good moves, but it was a block by Baker that sprung him loose. And a well-designed play by the Eagles.
Look at this little move here. He almost lateral to Morris, I believe, the offensive center. Timeouts remaining. Philadelphia has burned 1, and of course Theismann did earlier. Dallas, Baltimore. Who scored for the Cowboys?
Ron Spring scored on a run, and Carano's in at quarterback. Danny White is being readied for the Eagle game next week.
I wonder who's playing quarterback for Baltimore. Maybe Irsay is. At halftime, Brett Musburger and Herb Cross will bring us all up to date from the studio in New York. And Georgia Frontieri is the feature at halftime, the owner of the Los Angeles Rams. San Francisco on top of Cincinnati 7-3. The Bengals now have a field goal to get into that. Shotgun formation. 1:46 left before halftime. Here's Jaworski. He's had a good first half. Jaworski really throws a rifle. It's taken by Smith. Number 81 gets inside the 35. Ron Smith picked up from San Diego a couple of weeks ago. He's got the speed that the Eagles need. Jarris White made that tackle. It's a hurry up.
He's a little confused right now. Ron is new in the system, and he's moving from side to side. They get lined up. It's a hurry-up offense.
1:20 on the clock. Jaworski now will stop it. Throws for Smith, who makes the catch, and it's going to be called no good. Wow. Pretty good catch, but it did stop the clock. Jarris White making the tackle right at the moment of truth.
I'm glad Smith found his position that time. He was going back and forth because he was a prime receiver.
He had a little trouble in San Diego. They wanted him to run a kickoff back when they were having some troubles on a Monday night game, and he refused to go in, but he's come to Philadelphia, and if you know Dick Vermeil, there's no use making the plane flight unless you're ready to work and play. Looks like Smith has shown up to work.
So he's got some speed, too. The Eagles need some speed at that wide receiver position. Good receivers, but they don't have that blazer out there, and Smith might be the man.
Ball's on the 34. It's shotgun. A little bit of a rush. Jaworski going for Smith, and he's cut off neatly by Lamar Parrish. And nobody knows better how to do it than number 24. Even with a bad knee and all, he's still one of the premier cornerbacks in football.
It's a bit chancy right there. They're not in field goal range yet. They need to get another first down to make sure they have a shot at the field goal. They got plenty of time, 2 timeouts left. But this third down play right here is a big one. That would be a 52-yard field goal if they tried one from this position.
The tackles are doing a great job blocking, pass blocking. I'm talking about Walters and Sizemore on that shotgun. Those outside rushers can sort of lean around the horn. They're doing a pretty good job. Numbers on Jaworski.
Here's Harold Carmichael's going to catch this one on the blitz. They're coming out of it.
Maybe he didn't get it off in time.
That's what they did. Peters and Murphy were uptight, and Jaworski was audibling the blitz, and they came out of it when they heard the audible. It's a game up there sometimes. If they think the quarterback's audible, and they'll come out of it. And of course, that's what Jaworski did, and it took too much time.
Quarterback, though, has so darn much responsibility, Roger. You have to set people, and you have to think about the total concept, too, don't you?
That's why he gets paid more than everybody else.
Delay of game. Offense, still third down.
Well, you never even had an agent. You represented yourself with Tex Ram, and you're a rich man to prove that you don't always need an agent.
Sure.
I know you have your recess money. I'd bet on that. Third down and 15 on the 39. 1:10 left before halftime. With the blitz?
I think so this time. There they come. There's the play to Carmichael.
Dumped over to Carmichael.
And Carmichael slipped.
Boy, Bird Lavender really dug Harold Carmichael, his old buddy, on the 35, and Carmichael still on the ground.
Now, Carmichael tripped before the ball got there, and of course that's the down and in, the slant in, and teams use it so much now that the defensive backs really should take it away. Don't let the guy get inside, and this time it was tough. But watch Carmichael gets tripped up, and he gets off the ball late too for some reason.
Shouldn't it be thrown
right
high
there?
to him?
The ball was in front. He kind of stopped.
Wouldn't you throw it upstairs though? Wouldn't you hang it up above everybody, including Lavender?
Well, there's a chance you can do that. You can go with the slant ends, the quick ones up in the air, or the quick sidelines anytime you see a blitz, and they're automatic calls. The receivers have to adjust to them.
Runiger's first punt of the day. He's had 15 inside the 20-yard line. The coffin corner, as somebody once said. It's a good hanging punt, heading for the right corner. Nelms is getting away from it. Wow, this hits right on the point. It's going to be on about the 3-yard line. A tremendous punt by Maxie Runiger. Man, he airmailed that one right out of bounds.
That was a punt.
He was telling me one day that it's better to go ahead and airmail it out rather than try to let the ball hit and bounce out, because you have very little control if you put it on the deck. That was some punt. How do you like field position like that when you're a quarterback? Theismann's backed right up to the clock.
Well, the Redskins, they have only 57 seconds left, so they'll probably at least stay out of trouble down here. But any other time in the game, of course, that would have helped the Eagles even more.
Theismann keeping it out of trouble, takes it on a quarterback sneak.
So the Eagles will use their timeouts. They've got 2 of them left, and they'll try to keep the Redskins down there. I don't think they can do it.
And against that kind of a defense that's so darn sophisticated and so good, you don't want to be running anything really crazy, do you?
No, and they'll probably maybe have a chance to block a punt with a few seconds that'll be left. They'll not be able to get the ball back with 49 seconds to go. The Redskins have 2 plays, and the Eagles only have 1 timeout, so they'll probably get a chance to maybe block a punt or do something on the punting specialty area.
There's Coach Vermeil. Of course, there's Joe Theismann. You know who his backup quarterback was in high school? South River, New Jersey, his backup quarterback. This is going to get you. That's a
number 88.
Drew Pearson. You knew that, huh?
Yeah. I played with Drew, and he told me that.
First day you met him, huh? I used to be a quarterback.
That's right.
Everybody wants to be a quarterback till Sunday afternoon.
What's great is those practice sessions on Saturdays before the game. You know, it's kind of a just get warm session. All the linemen out there trying to be quarterbacks and receivers. They want to touch the ball. They never touch the ball.
The backs and quarterbacks can't even find the football in practice sometimes. All right, 2nd down and 9. Here's the handoff to Joe Washington, and Jerry Robinson eats him up at the 4-yard line. Another timeout. Eagles called another one. Another thing defensive linemen like to do is call timeout. You know, Charlie Johnson, Clark, Harrison, all those guys were up at the tee.
That defensive line for the Eagles has got some depth to it with Mitchell and Clark and Brown behind Hairston, Johnson, and Harrison. And really, Mitchell's the only guy that's a high draft choice, the #1 draft choice. And Charlie Johnson's the 7th, Harrison's the 7th, Dennis Harrison's a 4th. Greg Brown was a free agent, and he's got an interesting story. I'm sure all the people in Philadelphia know. And Ken Clark was a free agent. So they have really assembled themselves a very fine defensive line with only 1 high draft choice.
And Big Claude Humphreys, back with a knee injury, might be ready for the playoffs. He's been sort of the old man pass rusher that sort of taught these young guys how to win, and he's not able to play right now.
Great team guy. Claude is a good leader.
Taught the young guys how to put tape over the ear holes on those cold practice days, the little things that are very important, you know. 44 seconds left. The Eagles are out of timeouts. They lead 13-6. Outside handoff. Washington for 3 or 4. 36, and they're not stopping the clock this time.
You see when the officials wind the clock, coordinate it with the... Well, they can't stop it now.
Chesley made that tackle, a big fella from Pittsburgh who's going about 238, and he is a load as a linebacker. It's probably going to be about the last play. Johnny Shara's leaving, and Bernard Wilson is back in on 4th down and 5. 5, and that's the end of the first half. 2 touchdown passes, Jaworski to Billy Camfield. And that good Eagle defense has shut off the Redskins after their initial charge down there, and the missed extra point by Mosley, and of course a missed extra point by Tony Franklin. It's going to be a tough second half, and maybe even a little bit nasty. Right now it's Philadelphia 13, Washington 6.